So in our solution, as per the problem, the two quadratic polynomials which are given for us are of, one is the first quadratic polynomial is of f of x, the second one is of g of x. The first quadratic polynomial is of 3x square minus 2x plus 1, which is the first one, 3x square minus 2x plus 1, and the g of x is of 2x square minus 3 by 2. So g of x is of 2x square minus 3 by 2. But as per the problem, the condition which is given for us is of. But we have one condition which is given for us, that is of 3 into f of x is equals to 4 into g of x. So 3 into f of x is equals to 4 into g of x. Now let us substitute the quadratic polynomials in this present equation, then thereby, so we will be getting an equation in this form. 3 is multiplied with f of x, 3 multiplied with, so bracket indicates into f of x, but f of x is of, so 3x square minus 2x plus 1 bracket close is equals to 4 is multiplied with gx. So here I am 4 multiplied with g of x quadratic polynomial, that is nothing but 2x square minus 3 divided by 2. So that implies, let us multiply each and every term of this first bracket which is on the left hand side by means of 3. 3 into 3x square, 3 into 2x and 3 into 1. Similarly, two terms of this right hand side expression must be multiplied with of 4. So 4 into 2x square and 4 into 3 by 2. Then the next logical step will be of 3 3s is of 9. So here x square minus 3 into 2 is of 6x plus 3 1s is of 3, that equals to 4 into 2 is of 8 x square minus 4 into 3 by 2. So here let us write as a 4 into 3 by 2 by cancellation, denominator 2 1s and the numerator by means of 2, that is 2 2s is of 4. Then the next logical step will be of, so here 9x square minus 6x plus 3, which is on the left hand side is written as it is. So that is equals to 8x square on the other hand, that is right hand side, minus 3 2s is of 6 divided by 1 is of the same 6. Then now let us transpose, say here 8x square and as well as 6 minus 6 over to the left hand side. When 8x square and as well as minus 6 are transposed to the left hand side, then the next logical step will be of 9x square, then the square term is of 9x square and the other square term which is on the right hand side is of positive 8x square. When it is transposed over to the left hand side, it becomes minus 8x square. Then later minus 6x, there is none other x in this right hand side, so let us write minus 6x as it is. Then later let us switch on to the constant, real constant, that is plus 3 is on the left hand side. Then by transposing minus 6 which is on the right hand side over to the left hand side, so minus 6 when it is transposed to the left hand side, it becomes plus 6. Then here 0 is left over on the other hand. We got this logical step by transposing the right hand side terms. So here right hand side terms are of 8x square and minus 6, both are transposed over to the left hand side. So here we got this logical step by this reason, by transposing right hand side terms over to left hand side. Then now by simplifying further, we will be getting, that implies, so here these two are of like terms, square terms, and these constants are of the like terms. So here x term is only 1, so we can write minus 6x as it is. So here 8 is of negative and 9 is of positive, plus of minus is minus, let us subtract 9 minus 8 is of 1, that is 1x square. To assess the sign of this 1x square, we have to see the greater among 9 and 8. 9 is greater than 8, its sign is of positive, we can assess the sign as positive. So here minus 6x is only 1, we can write minus 6x as it is. Then now both are of positive, we can add up, plus into plus is of plus, 6 plus 3 is of 9. To assess the sign here, greater one among these two is of 6, 6 is greater than 3, 6 sign is of positive, we can write it as positive. So here that is equals to 0. So in this manner we got the quadratic equation. So x square minus 6x plus 9 equals to 0, which is in the form of x square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So x square minus 6x plus 9. So that implies x square minus 6x plus 9 equals to 0. So which is in the form of, that implies it is in the form of x square plus bx plus c equals to 0, which is in the gen form or the general form of a quadratic equation. So now, since x square minus 6x plus 9 equals to 0 is in the form of x square plus bx plus c equals to 0, so value of 6c is of 9 and the x coefficient is of b. So here x coefficient is of minus 6, b value is of minus 6 and x square coefficient is of a here. On the other hand, that is right hand side, x square coefficient will be 1 here. So here by comparing we can write as a as 1, b as minus 6 and c as 2, but we have to solve by factorization method. So in order to solve by factorization method, so write constant, real constant is of 9. So 9 can be splitted. 9 can be splitted as 9 factors. So 9 into 1 as the factors, or else we can write it as 3 into 3. So either by adding the first two, that is the first option, that is 9 and 1, either by adding these two factors or by subtracting, we must get the middle term, that is 6. So here let us go for the first option. By adding the two factors, 9 plus 1 is of 10. 10 is not the coefficient of this x. By subtracting 9 minus 1, we got 8. 8 is not the coefficient of x, but it is actually it is 6. So first option is wrong. Let us go for the second one. By subtracting here, 3 minus 3 will be 0, but 0 is not the coefficient of this x. By adding up these two factors, 3 plus 3 is of 6, so is the coefficient of x. So now we can choose this as the option. So 3 into 3, or we can split as 3x plus 3x. So now this can be written as, so here that implies, so x square, so here 6x can be written as minus 3x minus 3x. So minus of minus will be, so here we have chosen the 3 into 3. So I have wrote I say here 3 into 3, 3 and 3. So I have to select I say here the sign as minus and minus in order to get minus 6. Minus into minus is of plus, we have to add up, 3 plus 3 is of 6. So here both are of negative signs, the sign will be of negative. So here minus 3x is equals to minus 6x. Then the last term must be written as it is, that is plus 9 equals to 0. Then now, so among the first two terms and the last two terms, I want to take the common factor, that implies, so among the first two terms, x square, that can be written as x into x. There are of two x's here, one x is taken as common. When one x is taken as common from the x square, one more x will be left over inside the bracket, that is x into x is of x square, minus when x is taken out, then only just minus 3 is left over, minus 3. Then among these two terms, that is 3 and as well as 9, this 9 is splitted as 3 into 3. So here I want to take it here minus 3 as common. When minus 3 is taken out as common, then just x is left over within the bracket. Then now say here when negative sign is taken outside the bracket, then now signs inside the bracket will be changed. So positive sign becomes here negative sign. Then now we have 3 3's is of this 9. So here let us check up, minus into 3x is of minus 3x, minus of minus will be plus, 3 3's is of 9, but it must be equated to 0. So among these two terms now, so here x minus 3 is the common factor, whereas in the first term, that is x into x minus 3, there is of x minus 3. In the second term, that is x3 into x minus 3, there is of x minus 3. Overall, I want to take x minus 3 as common. Then the next logical step will be of when x minus 3 is taken as common, or in other words, when this bracket is taken out as common, just x is left over within the square bracket, minus this x minus 3 bracket is taken out as common, just minus 3 is left over within the bracket. So minus 3 within the bracket, square bracket, then that equals to 0. So in order to solve, this equation, so either first bracket must be equated to 0 or second bracket must be equated to 0. So here x minus 3 must be equated to 0, or the second bracket x minus 3 must be equated to 0. Or in other words, we can write it as, so here x minus 3 is multiplied twice. So x minus 3 into x minus 3. So x minus 3 is multiplied twice. So we can write it as x minus 3 whole square is equals to 0. So here it can be written as or. So therefore, when x minus 3 is equals to 0, so in order to get x value, so here minus 3 must be transposed over to the right hand side. So minus 3, when it is transposed over to the right hand side, we get the value as 3, positive 3. So in this manner we got, therefore x value is of 3. So therefore the value of x is of 3 when we solve the given quadratic equation by means of the method called the factorization method. So here hence the solution is of hence x is equals to 3 is the solution set.